Kia team, and welcome to my Loot Roots Survivor's Guide on PS5 on my modded server. This is a field somewhere, is where we are. So the first thing we're going to need to do is find out where we are. But there's some interesting things nearby us. We could have a radiator. There is a farm. There is some tower blocks in the distance and some Zeds down there, and some hills. And some other buildings. I've already got a pretty good idea of where I think we are, but I just want to check out this. Oh, blimey. Luckily enough, being my modded server, we already come pre-armed. Which is good. Free food? No. you won't get arms on all servers, but you will on mine. What's that? A pitchfork? It's possibly a jacket. Let's have a look if it's a jacket. Ugh. It's a burlap sack. Ah! Where did you come from? How did he get in? How did he get in? How did he get in? I was watching the door. He didn't come in through the door. Anyway, that was a bit weird. He's got matches. That's a good start. Right. Let's go and check out where we are. Like I said, this is my modded server, so you all know that you start with some extra bits and pieces on my modded server. So we'll skip all these Zeds here. We'll have a little look in the outhouse. Rifled slugs, they'll probably come in handy with what I've got planned next. Probably want to check out those houses, but I just want to check out. I think this is a railway train station. There's an industrial. Yeah, I think that we are on the outskirts of Cherno. Yes, what that actually says is Prigorodki. That means we're on the eastern side of Cherno. So Cherno is down that way, this big industrial complex, and the cranes and the buildings in the distance, and the big industrial and the cranes over there. That all means that that's exactly where we are. Don't think there's anything fun in here. So well, that's a kind of a good start, because if this is Prigorodki, I just want to check these houses, but these collection of houses here, there's a water pump there, right on the corner. It's an absolute lifesaver. But these houses in particular, these timber houses, are always nice little houses for loot per se. If you want a hard hat, we can put a hard hat on. It will certainly protect our head from things. Cable reel I probably don't need right now. Hatchet's good. I noted some Zeds around here. And as I've said before at the start, you want to kind of avoid the Zeds. If for no other reason, well, I mean, they're noisy if you're on an occupied server, but if for no other reason, a steak knife will come in handy. They'll damage your clothes. Might need those. They will damage your clothes. So our priority here is twofold. The first priority is get water, because even on my server you don't start with water. I start with a couple of cans of drink, but don't start with water. So we need to go and get water. I just wanted to check these buildings out in case there was anything. There's boots. There's 22s, might come in handy. Right, okay, so not really a whole heap of a lot. There's down here as well, there's a chicken usually spawns down here somewhere. Sometimes you can see them in the distance, especially if they're on the train tracks, or if they're in an open field, because the grass doesn't spawn in beyond a certain distance. So sometimes you can see them, but I don't see or hear one today. is fine. Here's our water pump. Lead pipe. Right, let's get some water. I mean, obviously, this goes without saying. Do not drink water other than water that comes from a pump. Don't drink the seawater. Don't drink the lake water. Don't drink the river water. The pond water. Don't drink water you find in a bottle if you find a bottle with water in it. You can drink the cans. You can drink the Pepsi and the Fanta and the everything else. Don't drink anything else. Only drink water that you get from here or water that you chlorinate yourself. Because you never know what a character is carrying around. Sometimes I've picked up water bottles that've got water in them, and I haven't, for whatever reason, emptied them at that time, but they're still in my inventory. So if someone kills me and they get that water, they think maybe I'm drinking it. I'm not drinking that water. It just happens to be in my inventory. So don't drink the water. The only other thing is, if you do get the opportunity next to a water station, fill up until your stomach icon is full, as you can see there. And then what I'll do, I think, is I'll go for a little run around these, and I plan to carry on sort of down the railway. We're heading into Cherno because there's some good things in Cherno, and what I'll do is I'll fill up again. And that'll give this area time for a couple of things. Don't need a gun cleaning kit right now. One is, these are fruit trees at the back, so while I'm here, oh, gas canister. I mean, I pick these up all the time and I carry them around in the vague hope that I'll end up getting a gas stove. And I don't get a gas stove till quite late on, so I've decided I'm going to stop picking those up for now and stop being a hoarder. Prioritize! There you go. That's rule number 1. Prioritize. Priority for now is food and water and weapon. A good pair of shoes. They would be handy. 76239s. I don't know if I'm going to need them soon. The shoes would be good. They are running shoes in pristine condition, and these are, I think, just athletic shoes. I don't know which lasts longer. Not very suitable for difficult terrain and not for rainy weather, and they are every day. So we'll stick with those. Don't want to head that way. That way is taking me out towards Electro. We're not going towards Electro today. We're going in towards Cherno today. Baseball bat is a fair melee weapon, but pack pepper seeds, not really. Sometimes what I see people doing when they're desperate is they'll grab a set of seeds, especially near a water pump, and they'll hang out for a hoe, and they'll make a garden, and they'll hang around till the garden appears and everything else and all the rest of it. There's fresh apple, that's good. I don't really do that. These are fruit trees out here, and you can get good fruit. You can't eat this fruit. Don't eat the speckled fruit, right? You can eat the fresh fruit, and there's another type of fruit that spawns in called dried fruit, which looks dreadful. It looks kind of worm-eaten. That's also rotten, but you can eat it. So this is it. This is the dried fruit. You can eat that. So just hanging out here for a bit. If you start out in Prigorodki, I think that's another dried one. That's another dried one. You run the chance of picking up some fruit. There you go. How much fruit did I pick up? A bit, right? So our full stomach has gone away. I'm not going to eat, because if I eat, I'll fill up my stomach, and I want to fill up my stomach with water first. And I have my water on the quick wheel. That would be my piece of advice to you. Get your water on the quick wheel. You're kind of vulnerable if you're out here on a busy server. So having your water on the quick wheel will help. So I'm going to guzzle up. Now there's another water in Cherno as well. So this ought to do us. So we don't need to worry about any more water for a while. So I think that's it, and I think we're good to go. The port is down that way. Lots of industrial buildings, lots of shipping containers. Not a lot of super anything else. I mean, if you spawned over there, yeah, sure, by all means, go through the shipping containers, see if you can find anything. I don't think you're going to find a lot, but you could carry on doing that. We spawned out here. This is just where we spawned. Sometimes you spawn on the coast, sometimes you spawn just a little bit further inland. So we're going to head on down this train track and follow this train track, which will take us in towards Cherno. And we're going to try and avoid the Zeds. Like, wait, has he got a bag? He's got a bag. We would normally avoid the Zeds, but we want the ones that are carrying bags. So we're going to want to sneak up on this guy. You want to sneak up on the ones that are carrying stuff that you want, and they don't have good eyesight and they can't see into bushes. So, but a while back, one of the patches, like I think 1.21 or something, they changed the Zed's behavior. So they seem to gravitate towards you for a bit, for some strange reason. It's really annoying. They usually tend to then walk away again. Oh. Try and aim for his head. I didn't want to ruin the bag. Is the bag ruined? Ah, the bag is ruined, you dirt bags. Oh, that's so annoying. The other Zed I saw didn't have a bag. The other reason you don't want to really get involved with Zeds a lot, sorry, back to my original train of thought, is at this stage, if we get cut, we don't really have any disinfectant yet, like iodine tincture or the alcohol, or we have a net, like a fishing trap. So there's rice, that's some food. Yeah, because we don't have any, the hoodie I think is better insulation. Right, and what we want to do with this is we want to drop that on the ground. We use the steak knife and we'll craft it into rags. Yeah, we don't want to get a cut because we could get infected, and if you get infected at this stage, you're going to need some tets to deal with it. We don't want that. So we got some rags, so we want to craft some improvised hands wrapping. You can see it's down there at the bottom. So we need hand wraps, just in case, you never know. Protect your hands from things, and also if we do get a chicken somewhere along the line. There you go. Now we've got hand wraps. That means that we won't get sick from gutting the chicken. Okay. There it is. Now, chickens used to be easy to kill. You could literally run up and punch them. But again, oh, thought I had my knife on. Oh, but you can't do that anymore. So you've got to kind of sneak up behind them and hit them with a knife, not sneak up behind them and punch them. And you kind of got to follow them, but not too close, so they'll get pretty agitated. So it's stopped now. I'll try and sneak up behind it this time. There you go. Job's a good one. Alright, one chicken. Oh. Now, this is a big industrial area, and there's a lot of big industrial units in here. And, I mean, it's entirely up to you how much of it you want to do or not do. Some of these buildings will yield slightly better things than others, and a lot of them will yield absolutely nothing whatsoever. So you're just kind of running around looking for things like 3-code locks, which you probably don't need right now, to be honest. Or gasoline. Industrial type buildings at the early stages, they're not super helpful. Yeah, you can get good boots, maybe, and yeah, maybe you can get some gloves, but by and large, in my experience, you don't really get a lot out of industrial areas for the casual beginning. So, like I said, you can go through and do as much or as little as you want, depending on how comfortable you are, but do bear in mind, time is a factor. Right? When you're starting out, time is a factor. We have got to get some things done in a short period of time, and we've got to get out of here. Unless you're planning a game in which you're going to be living in Cherno and thriving on Cherno and hunting players in Cherno, for the vast majority of time, most people are going through Cherno to go somewhere else, i.e. leave. Because there just isn't good loot here. It's a beginning place. It's only got beginning loot. If you want good loot, you're going to have to go inland, and you're going to have to go inland quite a distance. So if this is where you're starting out, and this is where you're going to make a base, you're going to have to go inland and come all the way back here. So you don't normally find anything but rookie bases down here, or what we would call respawn bases. So in other words, people set up a base, and every now and again they come down here and they load it up with good gear, so that when they do spawn, they just run to their base, they just grab whatever good gear they have in that base, and then they're kitted up, and they don't need to run around and worry about starving and doing all that kind of bits and pieces. So I'm just going to check my inventory management a bit here. Yes, I know there's a military up there. Because this is my modded server, that military up there has military infected. So because this is an easy route, we're not going to be going up there. But by all means, on official servers, go up there. Sometimes you can come across a pistol. Usually you find ammo and bits and pieces, maybe sights, incidental things. Usually not really good weapons, obviously. But you might find gloves or a belt. You know, maybe even a bag, something like that. Guru team, welcome back. So this is the outskirts of Cherno. We've literally, just because I'm shiving because it's the morning, we've literally just come down the track. The train track's there. You can see the Pantinery, or whatever it's called. And we've come down into this little house. This is the beginning of the sort of the outskirts of the city. And we're just going to check a couple of things out here. We're still looking for a bag, and possibly a warm hat. I mean, this hat is good and all, but it's not a warm hat. And there's a couple of things we want to check out in the city. There's a police department not a million miles from here, and there's a couple of waterfront buildings that sometimes spawn some food and some reasonable bits and pieces of weaponry and things. You might pick up a pistol. Don't really feel the need for a radiator. And there's cars that spawn things. It spawned a top on this car. Anything in the boot? Not today. Right, so we're going to head down the front. There's this little group of sheds down here. Just want to check that out. It's all quiet, Z-wise, at the minute. A Jenny. Don't want a Jenny. What's that? A rangefinder. Don't want a rangefinder. Not a lot. Not a lot. Right, okay. That's fine. Let's head up here. I mean, it's kind of up to you when you get into these cities what you want to check in terms of buildings. I've kind of found, personally speaking, it's different for everybody, but I've found going up into these buildings and running around, you don't always get the best of loot. But I do understand that other people do it, and I do understand that you might want to do it, and that's all good. I mean, go for your life. It all depends on the server you're on, and it all depends, pardon me, on what's happening. So we gotta, just before we head out to police, we'll just check this out. Now, there's a bit of a thinking. Oh, padded gloves. Now they're good. We've got warm gloves and padded gloves. Padded gloves are quite durable, but these particular gloves are not in good condition. I picked up a set of these gloves, which are also not in great condition, and these gloves are pristine. So what we'll do is we'll drop those. The padded gloves are probably the best, so we'll drop those. We'll pick up those and put those on, and we'll keep the padded gloves for now. Now, inventory-wise, is there anything we don't need? Well, let's eat some fruit. We could do with some fruit. We'll eat some fruit. This is the waterfront, the lighthouse. Sometimes you might spawn over on that side. And you've got other waterfront buildings and things. I don't want to do a quick run around the waterfront just yet, because it's not exactly in the direction we want to go. Where we want to go is this way. The Zeds are starting to spawn in. That's fine. Yeah, in terms of, so what I was going to say is, in terms of stamina, I like to keep my stamina at least better than half, shall we say? Because if you keep it at least at least better than half, you can pretty much scale most things that you're supposed to be able to scale, which is great. Yes, nice stealth kill. L2, R2. Tell me the bag's in good condition. Well, it's badly damaged, but that's better than ruined. So there we go. We'll pop that on. Now we've got a bag, which is absolutely fantastic. Police is just over there, so we just want to get around this little inlet. I don't want to swim it. Do you want to swim it? I don't feel like swimming it right now. That's police, backup police. So we're going to try and squeeze up the backup police. And obviously on an official server, this is quite a busy area, so you'd probably have to wear gloves, probably have to be aware of that. Some Zeds over there. Right, close the door. I always tend to close doors when I go into buildings. Try and make sure all the doors are closed, because Zeds don't open doors. So if you're in a building and you're upstairs and you're looting and you're, or you know, checking your inventory, having a drink, repairing your kit, universal flashlight, whatever you're doing, and a door opens, a Zed didn't do it. Right? So you know that that's a warning sign that a player has just entered the building. Nothing today. I'm agog. There's usually a pumpy down there, a pump action shotgun. Right, Oriel police pants. So the Oriel police pants hold 24. They're down as medium insulation. What we're currently wearing is cargo pants with high insulation. So there's really no need at this stage to change out of those trousers. We might find a weapon that needs those, so we'll take those. That's not a problem. What have we got here? Another pastel flashlight. Not really a big necessity for that. Is this a jacket or is this the pants? That's the pants. We've already had a look at those. See in here, this is like the armory area. Another pistol flashlight. I'm not going to get a gun. Is this the first binoculars? Don't need binoculars. Is this going to be the first time I go to police and don't get a gun? This is going to be the first time I go to police and come out without a gun. That is really disappointing, actually. There's one more office up here, and then there's a place on the roof. And there are no guns. What happens to all the guns? I'm astounded. Frankly astounded that there's no guns. Things do spawn up here. I've never found a gun up here, but I have found jackets and things up here. If you're worried about it, because players can see you, don't come up here. So we came from over there, train tracks Prigorodki, and we're obviously in police. There's the central square, and the road alongside the square. So if you spawn in at a different location, you can usually see these two buildings, the like old tower block hotel or whatever, and the central building. So you want to be making your way in that direction, because then there's the main road. The police is off the main road. Also, what we're going to do is we're going to head over in that direction, because we're going to then pardon me, head up to the medical, and I think it's one of these buildings here. I think it's that one. Just on the other side of this road over here is medical, and then not a million miles from medical up the back is fire, and not a million miles from fire is another police station. So there's two police stations here in Cherno. So let's just check the other side of the roof, because I'm astounded I'm not going to find a single weapon. Nothing? Oh man, that's not good. That's not good at all. Okay. DayZ is about many things, including one of them is adaptability. So let's go around the front. Let's go around the seafront. I'll show you the seafront stuff. It's definitely worth looting, unless you're terrified that people are coming to get you. Because it'll also take us around to the other water stand. So we'll have a look at the other water stand. Just have to be careful. Let's arm ourselves with a knife. Got a nice big splitting axe. We'll take that for now. Not, in my opinion, a great melee weapon, the splitting axe. It doesn't seem to, and that's probably a little bit better. Now that we've got some gear on us and a bag on us, we can definitely have a look at that. There's the plane, the crashed plane. So the water's just on the other side of the plane. Right, here's the water. Right, so we're good to go here. So if you're doing well for water, don't feel like you have to come through here. I just wanted to show you in case you spawned in a different place, and you know that you can find water over here. So what we need to do is we need to head back up the road, and we're going to go and have a look at medical. And we're sort of looking for, you know, reasonable medical supplies. There's police, like I said, so the main street takes you right into police. We're looking for some essential medical supplies. Not jeans. Thanks. Right, this is medical. A couple of kiosks outside medical. And you may know this, you may not know this, but medical stuff spawns, blood bag, around kiosks. So now that I have that, an extra bandage, I'm getting rid of those rags, because they do take up space. We got a pistol. Has it got anything in it? It sure does. So we actually now have a pistol, which may save our life. Is there anything in it? There is now. Right, I still want my knife, thank you. Yeah, so medical gear spawns within a radius of the medical stuff. It's a medical jacket, which is fine. And is that an IV kit? It sure is. So let me show you what we're going to do with this while we're here. Let's close that. And we'll drop that. So we got a blood bag, which is great. Blood bag can draw your blood. If you are in good condition, and we're in good condition, let's draw some blood. It's not going to hurt, I promise. Right, excellent. We're drawing some blood. You need the IV kit. So we're going to combine the two. It says craft IV blood bag. We're going to craft an IV blood bag. Now an IV blood bag is great for two purposes, but do remember to pick it up. You can use it if you lose blood. Obviously, kind of goes without saying, although you know we're going to say it anyway. If you get a bleed and it takes a while for you to deal with that bleed and you lose blood or whatever the situation is, you can use the IV to replace that and you can get back on what you're going to want to be doing in life without having to worry too much about it. Epinephrine, I'm not interested in epinephrine right now. The other thing is if you're involved in a pox strike, and I might say that's a better condition one, but we've already made our blood bag now, so it doesn't matter. I was going to say they do have pox strikes around here in Cherno, so do be aware of when you don't loiter too long around here, and if you hear the noise, consider moving away. So if you hear the artillery strike sound going off in the distance, you might want to consider that it's time to move on. NBC, anything else down here? Sometimes there's a spawn down here. No. Could probably take that. No medication, so no chlorine, for example, which would be handy, and no TETs yet, which is fine. Don't really find stuff out here much. Got some paramedics down there. Paramedics sometimes have things on them, but it's really sort of up to you if you want to go through that risk. And we can get down here. No, don't see anything in there. If the boot isn't opening, it's because you can pick it up. Just pick it up and drop it. It's one of the telltale signs you've seen a player. This thing doesn't happen by accident. So if you see that, it means there's a player about. Right, well we didn't get what we wanted, so that doesn't matter. We're heading this way. So this is the bus station, so we're going to head across the bus station, keeping an eye out, as you do. There's a Z over there. Right, so we want to head up the hill. I'm going to try and avoid some of those Zeds that are around the back. And there's like this sports groundy place. Timers. Sneak past that guy and we'll get in here. There you go. Look, I told you there would be one. Didn't I tell you there would be one? There's also a vest. That will protect us from vicious attacks. This has got a cartridge in it, which is great. We can also load it up. It's a 6-shot, which is great. So let us put that on our slot over there and then disequip it. We're now good to go with a decent weapon. Should we get into a jam or a pickle or any other kind of condiment? So just in terms of where we are, so we are at the, I guess you call it upper police station, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. It's certainly the police station up the hill. I guess Novoselki is the name of this area. So the Novoselki police station, I guess, is maybe what you want to call it as well, for sure. So, and we came from way over in Prigorodki, which is way over there, and we came up by the waterfront and up through the center of the town and past medical and past fire department and come up here to the PD. Now you can head over that hill, and there is a military base at Bolota over that hill. That hill is Visotovo. Which is fine. So you can head over Visotovo to Bolota. Now, on official, that wouldn't be so bad an idea because the military air base over there isn't too hard and isn't too problematic. But this is my modded server, and I have loaded up the air bases and the military bases with Zeds. So we're not going to be doing that. Pardon me. We're not going to be going to Bolota. We're going to be going to somewhere else, and that somewhere else is up at the head of that gully. So when you get out of PD or when you're at PD, there's like a road here. If you follow this road, it hits a gully, and that gully will take you up to another road, and at the top of that road is a little military roadblock, and that is where we are going to be going next, all the way up to the top, and we'll have a look at this little roadblock. And it's got a couple of military tents, nothing super startling or fantastic, but may have a better bag, may have a better jacket. You never know. Yeah, you never know what these things come up with. So here we are. There's an engineering over there. You can go and grab some engineering stuff if you want to. And if you're doing one of these things, you've got these gabions, I think are what they're called. These like rocks or like gravel in a cage. The Zeds can't get up here. So there's like a Z over there, there's a Z over there, and there's a Z over there. So there's a few of these. So if you're not experienced with this, you're going to need to be a bit careful, okay? There's a vest. Now, we need to make a decision at this stage about vests. Do we want protection or do we want camouflage and capacity? Because this is protection, and this is camouflage and capacity. I'm going to go for camouflage and capacity personally. Probably not going to need the 45s, and I don't need those gloves because I've already got good gloves. None of them have got a bag on, so we're just going to be conscious that this guy, they can come into tents. Some ammo, but no weapons, no nothing. I'm going to try and avoid altercations with these guys. Unfortunately, all three of them seem to be outside that tent, and I don't think that particular tent has a back flap opening. We'll go and have a look. Yeah, it doesn't. You can do a bit of a sneaky around. Do be aware, they are more aware than regular Zeds. So he's already heard me. So if he does hear me, get up on a Gabion and hit him with something sharp. Just be careful because the animation has a tendency to pull you off, and you don't want to get pulled off. He's heard me too, so that's okay. And eventually probably the other one will hear me. Did you get lost? Where are you going? He's decided to go around the outside. Hello. Got a little bag on. Yeah, you gotta be careful with this animation. anything? No, just his little bag. So, 2 down. There was possibly 4 of them, because there was a bald-headed one over there somewhere. We have a bison. We have a flashbang. And we have very little else. We have a smoke grenade. Did he hear me? Wow, that's new. It really is a surprise that he heard me. They did say they'd up their AI. If you wanted to take the bison, that's up to you. I mean, a lot of people diss the bison. It's not a dreadful SMG. The 380s are not a very common round to find a lot once you get up into the other parts of the map. So getting the ammo can be a little bit iffy. There's definitely another Z there, and I thought I heard another one behind us over the other side. So, but they're not bad. I mean, you can suppress them, and you can use them suppressed, and you can use them to take out Zs and various other bits and pieces. So, we're done here, and we picked up a vest, which is fine. I'm just conscious that I thought there was a Z out there, but I don't think so. So we're going to give it a berth, and we're going to head back over here. So we're going to now head over here, and it's just the top of the Novoselki area. And I'm just going to drop in here to show you where the water is before we move on to our next destination. That's the trail I was telling you about. It's green trail. So this is Novoselki, and the top one is Chernogorsk, obviously, or well, not obviously, but it is. Some Zs down there. So we can drop in here on our way past. Right, there's the water there. So there's a Z over there, but I think they're probably heading the other way. They're not heading the other way. Let's head behind a tree. Right, this might be our last water stop for a little bit. So by now we should be well sorted with water, and I think you can see that we are well sorted with water. Don't like this Z. So we'll come in this way. Let's back off a bit into a bush. Right, so we're all filled up. Right, so we're going to be moving on. Like I said, there's going to be a bit of a journey for us because we're going to head off up that way, which is heading up towards Nadezdino. Sorry, we're going to be heading up towards Nadezdino. So we're going to head up towards Nadezdino, which is going to take us a little bit up the valley, and it's a bit of a journey, and there's a couple of things to do really to get there. So it is a bit of a walk. So you need to be ready, and you need to be prepared. And one of the things we're not prepared for at the minute is food. So we're kind of okay. I'm thinking about cooking the chicken, because the issue with the chicken is we've had it for a while, and we probably want to get it dried, at least, if not roasted. So if you feel comfortable, now might be the time to do that. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to sort out some things, and then we're going to come back and we're going to have a look at cooking the chicken before we move on. I'll see you soon. Right, night is falling, or pardon me, it will be soon, and we need to cook this chicken. Now, I just wanted to show you something. These tower blocks, these big tall tower blocks, not the small ones. The small ones, you can run inside, and there's a set of stairs. I don't know if you can see. There is a set of stairs, and you can run inside and everything. Sadly, the big ones, they've taken the stairs out. So I don't know if people managed to jank their way upstairs or anything like that. I haven't been able to do it. So it's a real shame because these tower blocks appear here, and they appear in a couple of other places, and you just can't get up them. I mean, I know there would be loads and loads of floors, and that might be part of the reason why, because it would affect the frame rate to have all these floors. I mean, they don't have to have loot, and even these tower blocks by themselves have hardly no loot in them. But imagine if you could access all those. That'd be crazy. It'd make for some crazy bases. Anyway, we need to cook some chicken, and we're going to do something in here with chicken. So I've built a fireplace in here, and how you build a fireplace is you collect yourself some sticks, and you collect yourself, which you get from any bush with a knife or with your hands or with an axe or whatever, and you collect some bark, and you get the bark by going up to a tree with a knife, and scraping the bark off, which is fine. And when you combine those together, you get the option to craft a fireplace. And if you craft a fireplace, you get this thing that's on the ground. Now, the thing with the current fireplaces is there seems to have been a bit of an error. I'm not going to pick that one up just in case it glitches, but there seems to have been an error, which is to say you used to be able to get like a ghost image, which would show you where you could place the fireplace. That doesn't seem to be functioning at the minute. It's probably just a minor error from the update. If it doesn't give you the option to place the fireplace, just drop it. Just drop it, and it's probably fine in most cases. In some cases it won't work, but it should be fine in others. You're then going to need firewood, so you get yourself some firewood, and you attach that to the fireplace. And I picked some. I got the firewood with an axe, but you can get it from larger bushes by hand. Or even by a large knife. Now, in this instance, because this is a fire, we're going to need a long stick. And what we're going to need to do with that long stick is we're going to need to sharpen it. And you can sharpen it with the axe, or any kind of sharpening device. You can sharpen it with a saw. And we're going to need to sharpen it because that's how we're going to cook our chicken. So we'll sharpen it all up. All this kind of stuff is on my tips channel. This is the sharpened one here. So we're going to keep that in our inventory. So, and just to avoid any confusion, what I'm going to do is I'm going to split that up into short sticks. And I'm going to add it to the fire as extra fuel. It won't hurt. I don't need it. It's not something I need right now. So it's in my hand. Put it into attach. So to get the chicken ready, you've got your gloves on, yes. And what you do is you combine your knife with your chicken, and it will skin and quarter the chicken. Now, I've had this chicken a while, but it should still be good. Let's see what the meat comes out looking like. Yeah, the meat looks fine. I got bones. We'll keep the feathers. You can keep the bones. You can combine them to make a hook. I'm going to make a hook and take it with me because they don't take up a lot of space, and you never know when you might need one for doing a spot of fishing. So my advice is, from your first chicken, craft a hook. If you want to craft a bone knife, go for it, but I don't need one. I have matches, so I can light a fire. They're not damp, so if I put them in my hands and I hold it next to the fire, I get the option to ignite, and I'm going to do that. But if you want to, well, if you're unlucky enough not to have matches, or you do not have a lighter, some short sticks and bark combined again will get you the hand drill kit, and the hand drill kit is something that you can use to light a fire. So I'm going to make one, and I'm going to bring it with me because there's every possibility along the line that my matches might get wet. My firefighter's jacket is probably the best place for them because it has the best insulation. It's likely to keep me dry. Same with anything else I've got that could get wet, like perhaps my blood bag could get ruined. Put that in my jacket. Cargo pants, don't really care about anything else. Bandages, we don't care if they get wet or anything like that. So that's all fine. So I'm gonna then light this fire in here. Now, the benefit of lighting a fire in here is that well, twofold. The first is there's no smoke that's going to exit the building. So the fire is going. There we go. So if I sneak out without burning myself, there's a little bit of smoke by the door, but not a huge amount. There's a little bit of noise. So there's less smoke here than there is if you do it in the woods or if you do it in a house. There's a little bit of noise, but you kind of have to be close. It is going to be loud when I start cooking. And also, well, at night you can see it around the sides of the door. So it's not super at night. So to use this, what we do is we combine our meat with our sharpened stick, and it gives us the option to roast. You kind of you have to wait till the gray embers come around. I've got my foot in the fire, so I'm pretty close, and I'm gonna get kind of hot, as you would do with your foot in the fire. So the only downside to this is I'm gonna get hot in here real quick. Next time I roast, I'll take a slightly further step back, which is just something to be aware of. It's not going up any further. It's still yellow. We don't want it to get into the red, because when it gets into the red, it's a bit of a problem, and we'll start losing health. And you can see it takes quite a while to roast the chicken. It used to roast a little bit quicker, but they've changed it, and it takes quite a while. Do not interrupt the process. So once you're holding it down, don't interrupt the process until you get the cooked thing. Then over on your thing, just drop it, because if you put it in your coat or anything like that, it is going to we're a little bit further back. It's going to heat you up as well. So if you put hot food in your jacket or in your pants or even in your backpack, you're going to start getting warm. So if you don't need to pick it up, don't pick it up. So here we are cooking inside a shed. If you didn't know that we could cook inside a shed, so you can cook inside a shed. And you know, if you had a lockpick, you could even lock the door. So players might see a little bit of smoke, they might hear you, but if they don't have a lockpick and you've got the door locked, the only way that they're getting in here to get you is to damage the door and break the lock, which, you know, is doable. But obviously you would be ready for that with your trusty shotgun, and that would be the end of them, hopefully. The downside obviously being if they're sneaking around, which they might be able to sneak around and you wouldn't hear them because of the sound of cooking. They would just wait for you to come out. But, I mean, they don't know. They don't know how long are you going to be around for. They have no idea. So anyway, so we're going to cook this chicken, and that's fine. And then that's going to be the end of this one. So, just looking back at where we came from while I'm doing this. So, we started out over here in Prigorodki. And it wasn't a million miles from the water, which is great. So we then managed to move over to the water and grab ourselves a bit of a refill and grab some fruit, because there's fruit trees at the back of the water, and that's all grand. We then just headed off down the railroad track in towards Cherno proper, which is also grand. And we had a little snoop around. We went to the other water. And sorry, we went to police first, and we checked that out, which was a bit of a bummer, not getting anything out of that police. That's kind of like the first time, other than on a really, pardon me, a really busy server. That's like the first time I've never gotten anything. And then we went for a little bit around the front, And we ended up by the water, by the crashed plane, and I guess it's a hotel. I'm calling it a hotel. It could be anything, but it looks kind of like a hotel to me. Department store. We then headed over to medical, and we didn't really get an awful lot at medical. Extra bandage, I think. Over to fire, and we picked up our jacket that we're currently wearing at the fire department, which is fine. And then we moved on to the police up the top of the hill, Novoselki. From police at Novoselki, we went up to the little military roadblock, and we encountered some military Zeds, which is fine. We hopped up on the Gabians and we dealt with them. That was not a big drama. And then we have moved on here to the water, which was frankly a bit of a pig to find, but we did find it. And once we'd sorted that out and we were happy with that, we decided that before we go off on our little schlep, which is a little bit up the valley to Nadezhdino, we had to cook some food, and that's where we are, and that's what we're doing. So I've cooked my food, and that's all good, and I'm gonna load it up into my jacket now, and I'm gonna get out of here before I get way too hot. I'm gonna leave that just doing its thing. There's a sharp stick, and I don't really care. And there you go. I mean, you'd have to kind of be looking for that. I mean, I suppose if you were looking for it and you were at a distance. Nah, well, I mean, you might, but you'd have to be paying a lot of attention. And certainly in the daytime, it's largely invisible. I can't hear it. At night, it'll be very bright because it shines out around all the gaps in the doors and everything else, but everywhere it is if you light a fire at night. So if you light a fire at night, the only place that's not bright with a fire at night is these little steel stoves that are in here. These little steel stoves, you can shut the front, and you don't get any light out of them. You get a little bit light around the edge, but they're pretty dark, which is pretty good. So you can do that if you want. But otherwise, that's a little sneaky trick for you to get yourself sorted with a little bit of something. And for me, yeah, well, night's coming, and it's not really very much fun for you guys, and I have a couple of other things to do. So I'm going to wait, and I'm going to come back in on a new day, and I'll do probably a quick time lapse of the road up to Nadezhdino. So I hope you enjoy this, part 1. If you do like it, please click like. Please subscribe to the channel so you know that when the next one of these is coming out. And please feel free to drop any comments, ask any questions, seek any clarifications. I am always happy to respond. Ta-ta for now. PlayStation